So good morning. First year BA, first year BCom Computer Applications, Semester 1 FIT, Fundamentals of Information Technology. That is, today's topic is programming languages, introduction to programming languages, different types of softwares, and introduction to programming languages, types of programming languages, their features and applications. All these things we may discuss here. So we open the PPT. So what is this content? Today's content is concept of an algorithm, termination and correctness, algorithms to process, specifications, top-down development, stepwise refinement, use of high-level programming languages. Use of high-level programming languages for systematic development of programs, introduction to the design and implementation of correct, efficient and maintainable programs, introduction to computer architecture, memory, ALU, CPU, I/O devices, introduction to system software, operating systems, compilers, multi-user environment, all these things. So what is a computer? Start with the beginning of the introduction or beginning of computer. So definition of the computer. So computer is a device capable of performing computations and making logical decisions. Computers process data under the control of sets of instructions called computer programs. So what is a computer? It is a device is used to do or perform various computations and logical decisions, making various logical decisions. And generally computers process the data using under the control of or using some instructions or giving some instructions called programs and programming languages. Instructions or commands or computer programs. So another term is hardware. What is hardware? Hardware is various devices used to comprising of a computer like keyboard, screen, mouse, disk, memory, CD-ROM and processing units. And next term is software. What is software? It is a collection of programs or programs that runs on a computer. So computer organization means how to build a computer, what is the structure of a computer. So 6 logical units in every computer, that is input unit, output unit, memory unit, arithmetical logical unit and central processing unit CPU, secondary storage devices. So computer organization means by using generally computers can work or manufactured by using all these 6 devices like input output units, output units, memory units, arithmetic and logic units, ALU, central processing unit, CPU and secondary storage units. So generally input units are used to obtain information from input devices like keyboard, mouses. Output units are used to output or display results or information to screen, printer and to control other devices. Memory units are used to generally they are rapid access, slow capacity, stores input information. And ALU, arithmetic logic unit. ALU means arithmetic and logic unit. ALU means arithmetic and logic unit perform arithmetic calculations and logic decisions. ALU means they can perform arithmetic calculations and logic decisions. And the CPU means central processing units. Generally the supervises and coordinates the various components of the computer. And secondary storage units means they are cheap, long term, high capacity storage devices. What are secondary storage devices? They are cheap, long term and high capacity storage devices. and generally they are used to store all the programs, softwares, instructions like that. So this is the structure or architecture of a computer. So this is the structure or architecture of a computer. Uh, it contains the block diagram. It is also called as the block diagram of a computer. It contains the block diagram of a computer. Means generally a computer architecture or structure or a block diagram contains various parts, input devices and input part or output devices or output unit, input unit and output unit, and central processing unit. Input unit contains or uses input devices, and output unit contains output uh, output devices. The CPU or a central processing unit generally contains various components like ALU, control unit and memory unit. So this is called as the block diagram of a computer or architecture of a computer, like input unit, output unit and the CPU. Input unit contains input devices and output unit contains output devices, and CPU central processing unit contains a processor. Central processing unit generally contains a processor, ALU means arithmetic and logical unit and control unit, and memory unit. So all these are units are interconnected with each other to transfer data and information and commands and instructions. Similarly, to transfer memories or content. So a computer consists of a central processing unit, CPU. Again, it consists of three parts: an arithmetic and logic unit, ALU means an arithmetic logic unit where mathematical and logical operations are generally performed. A control unit which directs most operations by providing timing and control store signals, and registers that provide short-term data storage and management facilities. A memory unit that stores instructions and programs and data, and generally input unit or inputs. Examples are keyboard, mouse, microphone, disk drives, etc. And output units like monitors, status indicators, lights, speakers, disk drives, etc. Units that use to transmit data into and out of the computers. So generally a computer contains all these parts or units. A central processing unit or CPU have ALU and control unit and registers, and a memory unit generally used to store a memory unit is generally used to store all the instructions and data programs like that, and input devices are used to feed or enter some data or instructions through by using input devices like keyboard, mouse, microphone like that, and output devices are used to display or store or send the data or information to the output units like monitor, speakers, drives like that. So we start with the first device or first component of a computer, that is ALU. So we starts with ALU. ALU means arithmetic and logic unit. Arithmetic and logical unit. It is mainly used to do all calculations, comparisons, and so ALU means arithmetic and logical unit to do all arithmetic operations. Logical means comparison operations like that. The type of operation that the ALU needs to perform is to determined by signals from the. So generally in ALU we may perform additions, subtraction, divisions, multiplications, exponentiations. Similarly, comparisons means less than or equals to, greater than or equals to, not equals to, like that. So next is the memory unit or random access memory, RAM, stores instructions and or data. Memory is divided into an array of boxes, each containing a byte of information. A byte may consist of 8 bits. A bit means either a binary digit, it is either 0 or 1. 0 means off, 1 means on. The memory unit also serves as a storage for intermediate and final results of an arithmetic operation. So, control unit. What is control unit? Control unit contains logic and timing circuits that generate the appropriate signals necessary to execute each instruction in a program. It fetches an instruction from the memory by sending an address and a read command to the memory unit. The instruction words stored at the memory location specified by the address is then transferred into control unit. After decoding instructions, the control unit is simply transmits the appropriate signals to the other units in order to execute the specified operation. This sequence of fetch and execute is repeated by control unit until the computer is either power off or reset. So next is common software. So what are the different types of softwares? What are the different types of softwares used in a computer system? So like operating systems, compilers, assemblers and interpreters. So what are the different types of operating systems used, common softwares used in a computer system are operating systems, compilers, assemblers and interpreters. So what is an operating system? An interface between the hardware and the user, provides an easy and efficient use of the system resources. So generally operating system is the mediator in between a computer, means hardware components, and the user. Similarly, a hardware it is also a mediator or an interface between hardware and software. So by using operating systems we can easily operate the computer. So evaluation of operating systems. So from the beginning we may use starts with a single user operating system. So the first operating system is single user batch processing operating system, do only one job or task at a time. Next is early operating systems are manages transitions or transactions between jobs, increased throughput and multi-programming. Next, another type of operating system is multi-programming operating system. Computer resources are shared by many jobs or tasks. Users still waited a long time for the output. And time sharing, another important operating system is called as time sharing operating system. Generally converts in time sharing operating system, computers run a small portion of one user's job, then moves to another service. So what are the different types of operating systems? A single user operating system, a batch processing operating systems, and multi-programming operating system and time sharing operating systems. These operating systems we may discuss in the next unit. So in multi-programming means computer resources are shared by many jobs or tasks. Users still waited a long time for their output. Time sharing means access computers via terminals. Computer runs a small portion of one user's job, then moves on to the service the next user. And in a single user operating systems do only one job or task at a time. And multi-user operating system is manages transactions between jobs, minimizing transaction time between jobs. So programming languages. So what are programming languages and the different types of programming languages used like that? So a vocabulary or and a set of grammatical rules for instructing a computer to perform specific tasks. So what is a programming language? It is also a language. It is one of the language. or a communicating device or a communication medium to communicate or give some instructions or commands to a computer by the user. So generally programming language contains some characters, words, sentences, instructions, commands like that. So a vocabulary and a set of grammatical rules for instructing a computer to perform specific tasks. So evaluation of programming languages means in the first generation we have machine language. We used machine languages. In the second generation computers we may use assembly languages. Third generation high level languages are there. So like that. So in the first generation computers we may use machine languages. Machine language means binary language or a combination of zeros and ones. Means it is a combination of string of numbers giving machine specific instructions. Then and second generations we may use assembly languages. What are assembly languages? Assembly languages are generally English like abbreviations representing elementary computer operations translated via assemblers. Examples are example commands, example assembly language commands are load, add, store, like that. Third generation means in third generation computers high level programming languages are used. In third generation computers high level programming languages are used like C, C++, Java, like that. Generally they contain some codes for similar to everyday English, use mathematical notations, translated via compiler. So in first generation computers we may use a machine language or a binary language. What is a machine language or a binary language? A combination of zeros and ones, strings of numbers giving machine specific instructions. Second language is in second generation computers we may use assembly language or assembly language. What is assembly language? Assembly language is a mnemonics. In assembly language we may use mnemonics, or mnemonic means it is a small English like instructions or commands. Assembly language is a language it contains mnemonics or English like instructions, English like abbreviations representing elementary computer operations. The third generations, from the third generations computers we may use computers may use high level programming languages. There are many types of high level programming languages are there, like C, C++, Java, like that. In these high level languages we may use codes similar to everyday English, and use mathematical notations and etc. So this is the structure of another diagram or a structure of how programming languages are evaluated. So in the how to use the programming languages. So in the bottom line we may use hardware. So in the bottom line of this diagram it starts with it may used with hardware. Next, hardware generally manipulated by machine language or a binary language. Hardware is generally manipulated by machine language or binary language. So binary language or a machine language, binary language or a machine language generally contains zeros and ones, combination of zeros and ones. Next comes assembly language. Assembly language is the combination of uses some mnemonics. Generally assembly languages we may use mnemonics or codes. Next comes high level languages. High level languages, there are many types of high level languages are available, like C, C++, Pascal, Fortran, like that. So in the bottom line, hardware will appear. Next is hardware is operated by machine language or a binary language, and after that assembly language will come, and after that high level languages will come like C, C++, Fortran, Basic, COBOL, like that. So what does the computer understand? Means computer only understands machine language instructions. Why? Because computers can be computers are built with some hardware components like electrical, electronic, and mechanical. Computers are generally built up with hardware components like electrical, electronic, and mechanical parts or components, and generally all hardware components are built up with circuits and circuit boards, and these boards having electrical signals are used to transmit electrical signals like electrical current is passed or not. If the current is passed on to a device, it is treated as high voltage, otherwise it is treated as low voltage. That is zeros and ones. Zero means there is no current, and 1 means current is passed. 0 means similarly 1 means non-zero, no current or no. 0 means current is passed or yes or true. So zeros and ones are generally represented with yes or no or true or false, like that. So next is assembler. What is assembler? Assembler means instructions written in assembly language must be translated into machine language instructions. So assembler does this one-to-one translation. One AL instruction is mapped to one ML instruction. AL instructions are CPU specific. So what is assembler? So assembler is an application software. Assembler is a translator or in application software that is used to translate an assembly language program, that is used to translate an assembly language program into object code. So instructions written generally instructions written in assembly language must be translated into machine language. So that job is done by assembler. Assembler is also one type of software or a translator or application software that simply translates assembly language programs into machine language or object code. Next is compiler. So what is a compiler and what is translator? So compiler and interpreter. Compiler and interpreters are also application softwares. They generally use it to translate. So next is compiler. So what is a compiler? Compiler is another type of translators. So what are the different types of translators? Compilers and interpreters and assemblers. So what is a compiler? Compiler instructions written in high level language also must be translated into machine language instructions. Compilers does this generally one to many translations, generally one to many translation. One high level language instruction is mapped to many machine language instructions. So high level language instructions are not CPS specific, but compiler is. So generally what is a compiler? Compiler is also another application software. It generally used to translate instructions written in high level language into corresponding machine language instructions. So generally one to many translations. So translation from high level languages into machine language. So how to use translators? How to use translators in various programming languages, or how to use translators to convert high level high level programming languages into machine level languages. So how to convert high level programming languages into machine level programming languages. So in this diagram we may use various high level languages like C++ programs, compilers. So how to convert a C++ program into a machine language? So first, C++ program is written uh, in by using some editor. After that, compiler is used to translate high level language into corresponding object code. So compiler is generated, is used to convert high level programming language into object code program, object code or object code program. Next is we may use linker. Next we may use linker. Linker is also a an application type of program. Linker is also one of the application type program. It is simply used to convert object code. It is generally used to convert object code into machine language. So compiler is used to convert high level language programming to object code programming, object machine language, and linker is used to convert object code programming code into corresponding machine language. So after getting machine language, we may use some linker and other type of application to generate executable files or executable programs. So this is the structure of a program. This is the structure how a program is generally compiled, execute and run. So it is a top-down approach from high-level language to a low-level language. So here we may use some high-level languages, compilers or translators, object code, linkers, machine language programs, like that. So another type of interpreter is called translator is called as interpreter. So interpreter is another type of translator. An interpreter translates high level instructions into an intermediate form, which it then executes it. It contrasts a compiler translates high level instructions directly into machine language. Compiled programs generally run faster than interpreted programs. The advantage of an interpreter, however, is that it does not need to go through the compilation stage during which machine instructions are generated. This process can be time consuming if the program is long. So the interpreter, on the other hand, can immediately execute high level programs. For this reason, interpreters are sometimes used during the development of a program. So what is an interpreter? Interpreter is another type of translator. So what is the main difference between an interpreter and a compiler? Compiler compiles one by one instruction, or compiler translates one by one instruction, whereas interpreter translates entire program into once. And generally interpreters are compilers are fast, whereas interpreters are slow. Compiled programs generally run faster than interpreted program. And what is the advantage of using interpreter? What are the advantages of using interpreter means? During interpreter, the entire program will be taken into consideration for at a time and convert into the program as object code. So different types of, what are the different types of high level programming languages? What are the different types of high level programming languages? Weakly typed or strongly typed programming languages, structured programming languages, and many more other types. So what are weakly typed programming languages, strongly typed programming languages, structured programming languages, and many more other types of programming typed languages. So what are typed languages? Typed information was added to programs to improve efficiency. For example, an integer addition is performed more efficient than floating point addition. Hence, it is more advantageous to declare the value or variable as integer whenever it is possible. Weakly typed or strongly typed integer languages. A strongly typed programming language is one in which each type of data such as integer, character, hexadecimal, pack, decimal and so forth is predefined as part of the programming language, and all constants or variables defined for a program must be described with one of the data types. Certain operations may be allowed only with certain data types. So strongly typed languages, different definitions are given for a language to be strongly typed, and if that condition is not defined by a particular language, it is said to weakly typed. So examples. So a language is strongly typed if it contains compile time checks for type constraint violations. If all checkings is different to runtime, it is weakly typed. A language is strongly typed if it contains compiler or runtime checks for type constraint violations. If no checking is done, it is weakly typed. A language is strongly typed if conversions between different types are forbidden. If such conversions are allowed, it is weakly typed. Similarly, a language is strongly typed if conversions between different types must be indicated explicitly, and a language is strongly typed if there is no language level way to disable or enable the system. So where does a C fit in? So for example, under definition, the C language is weakly typed with definitions 1 and 2. It is open for further debate since C does perform type checks for compound types but not for similarly C++ or Java. C++ and Java are stronger typed than C. So typed languages. So an advantage of strong data typing is that it imposes a. So we will continue in the next class.